Hey, love. Welcome to No Matcha, No Mama, the podcast where we pour a little matcha and a whole lot of truth. Each week, I sit down with someone I admire, founders, healers, creatives, and friends, and we sip a matcha I've made just for them based on what they love. I like to do everything with intention, from the ingredients in your cup to the conversations that we have. And this show is more than just about talking. It's about exploring how we can truly thrive through all the mess and magic of being human. Here we start with matcha because how we start matters. So today I am here with Nathalia Ramos. She's a former actress, writer, producer, mom, and you're the creator of the Whole Bunch Club, which I love. I wrote a blog post for you. It's a community inspiring parents to approach kids' food and wellness with more intention and less stress. So I'm really, really happy you're here so we can dive into all things mom, health, and wellness, etc.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. You were my first guest contributor, so
I love it.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to collaborate in this way.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I made you a matcha, which you already tried.
I dove right into it. I hadn't had my matcha yet today, so.
Yeah, so I have matcha every morning. It's part of my ritual. And I was wondering, is there a ritual that you have every morning to start your day? And what is it?
Okay, so on a good day, it's definitely my workout. I've always been a morning person. And since COVID, I don't think I've been to a workout class. I just do my videos at home. I wake up early before my kids. Even if I do 20, 30 minutes, like that's my me time and that's what I need. And I'm really grouchy when I don't have it. That being said,
if you don't get to it.
If I don't get to it.
What is your ritual? Yeah.
So today, for example, we were just talking about this. Some days just don't work out. Some days aren't great. I woke up really early. My baby had a bad night, so didn't sleep much.
I had that the other day, so I get it.
Yeah, it kind of like ruins all of your plans, but you just got to roll with it. And I live in the OC, and we're here in West Hollywood today. So I had a long drive, and so I just got up, got in the car, was halfway here when I realized that I didn't bring my makeup. And so I was like, oh my God. What am I gonna do? So I went
of course.
Like of all the days. I left, I'm going to work after this. I left my computer charger. My computer's dead. I left my makeup. I just drove to CVS and I haven't been to CVS. I was just telling you, I haven't been in years to buy makeup.
No.
Just had to, I don't know, put something together, did my makeup in the car. And you know what? I just thinking to myself like.
Well, you look beautiful.
Well, thank you. I feel totally just, you know, when you just feel flustered.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And I wonder if you feel the same. Like since becoming a mom, these things don't stress me out like they used to. Especially we're here talking about parenting and mom life. And this is just the reality. Like I was with my kids, all night and then this morning and like rushed out the door to get to work. And it's just like, you know what? This is real life. So I didn't get to do my makeup today. Yeah. I feel like a mess. But you know what? Big deal.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You kind of have to like roll with the punches.
Totally.
I've noticed that if you have to be really flexible too. Like nothing goes as planned.
Nothing.
Pretty much ever. Like you plan something and you're like, oh, well, I guess we can't do that today because this happened.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Nothing goes as planned. And I try not to let that stress me out anymore. So if I miss my workout, it does affect me for sure. And like I don't feel like myself and I sit at a desk all day. And so my body just kind of needs it. But I feel like before I had kids, I would like torture myself. Oh my God, you have to go to this gym class and work out for an hour and a half. And I was just neurotic and just really, really obsessive over it. I don't obsess over it anymore. I think that's healthier.
I had a conversation with my sister-in-law about this too, but like sometimes having a rigid ritual or something rigid about your daily life can end up being stressful.
Yeah, I heard that episode. I was listening to it in the car. I agree.
And it's just about like you just want to feel good. So you end up not feeling good.
Yeah.
You end up feeling more stressed if you don't get to that, right?
Right.
So it's really important, I think, for all of us to, as long as you show up and do something for yourself, even if it's really small, that's enough.
Yeah. So on the days, I mean, I wake up really early so I get in my workout before my kids wake up. But of course, sometimes your kids wake up early and then they come into,
and you can't get
they
to it.
They bother mama this and then they don't let me work out. And I used to get really frustrated by that. But now I'll just do some stretches on the play mat while I'm playing with them or whatever. I mean, I just, you figure it out. And then I just think to myself, one thing I've been saying to myself a lot lately is this is really just a few years, this like really intense where your kids need you so much and they're just like, they just want to snuggle and they just want you and you're their favorite person in the world. And then it's gone. And like I have the rest of my life to go to Pilates. I don't know. That's what I tell myself at least.
No, I agree. We're only going to have, I think I heard this. I think it's like 10 years where you're still your kid's favorite person.
Yeah.
And then they get best friends and then they get girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever it is. And then they have other people in their life that they want to hang out with more.
Yeah.
And so you only get 10 years of your kids.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Right. And sometimes that happens sooner and and so you want to soak up in all of those moments. And yes, we have long days and it's very hard, but yeah. Motherhood is hard. And there are some days that you don't. You're like, oh my God, I want this day to end. But you try to soak up in all the moments as possible because it's fleeting.
That's what I keep telling myself. Like one day I'm not going to be his favorite person. So just enjoy it while I have it.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been really trying to focus on these days.
I feel you. I have been too. And I've been trying to be more intentional with the way that I show up for them, like putting my phone down when I'm around them and trying to be as present as possible so that, and I think that brings more joy into it or not feeling like you need to be somewhere else. Like I sometimes feel guilty. I was like, oh, well, I need to be doing something else. And like,
or
guilty,
multitasking.
Right. Or feeling guilty that I'm not doing work or being productive, right? But like being with your kids is the most important thing.
It's the most important. It took me a while to realize that.
Yeah, it's an unlock when you do.
Yeah, and that just changed everything. Now it's like, I mean, I used to work, through the night, and that's what you do in your 20s. And that's like the beauty of it too. You can do that. But now it's like 5 o'clock. My phone is off. I don't look at my phone. It's like
that's great.
My son comes home from school. I'm with the baby. Where that's our time. It's dinner. All of that like nighttime routine. And it's like I don't answer the phone. Like all of that can wait.
Yeah.
So
that's really great.
That's been a big shift.
Do you actually turn your phone off?
Well, I mean,
you put it down.
I put it down. Yeah. I don't answer even like the shop is closed. Business hours are
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day.
Exactly.
I'm going to be with my kids now.
I leave it on the charger. I don't even know where it is. I don't look at it from like 5 to 8.
Well, it sounds like you're in a really intentional period of your life.
I'm working on it.
And I was wondering, and this is probably accurate, but how did becoming a mom reshape your relationship to like wellness, body, mind, and spirit? Like how...
Yeah, that's a great question. Because it's reshaped. I mean, it's changed me as a person in so many ways. Wellness specifically, I think it's just shifted my priorities. I want to feel good and take care of myself because I want to have the energy to keep up with a 3-year-old.
Yep.
But I also I want to be healthy. I want to be around for a long time. My husband and I were both, sort of young. We're young at like early 30s. So our parents are young and they're super active and involved. And I want to be strong and healthy, for as long as I can. And so like that's the focus as opposed to it used to be, I got to work out because I got to look good. And just like I was telling you before, having so much anxiety if I missed a workout or obsessing over the food that I eat, that really shifted once I had kids. I don't think about, I guess I'm less vain. I don't think about like my weight and things like that anymore like I used to. And ironically, you look better, like when—
Well, it's like a mindset shift, right? As soon as you stop focusing on that.
Yeah, and I feel more confident. I feel like I look better when I'm thinking about it way less than I ever did. It's weird.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I mean, I was like that when I was younger too. You like want to look good and all these things. Yeah. And then you kind of have to have this shift in your thought process around like eating and nourishing your body and all those things. And once you have that, it opens up this freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'm sure we'll talk about Whole Bunch Club, but when I really started researching the foods for my kids and like thinking about eating healthy and cooking really healthy food and I started cooking really for the first time. And so just I feel like our whole household benefited from that. And so just eating to nourish as opposed to just eating to, be on a diet or whatever.
Yeah. I actually want to talk about your household because your parents live with you, right? Or is it your parents or your husband's parents? Your parents.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the best.
When my husband and when I was pregnant with Dina, we read in 2022, we read the book Hunt, Gather, Parent. And it really challenged like this thought process around parenting. The book talks about how historically we never raised kids in isolation. And there was always a village, like an extra set of hands, an extra set of hearts, and supporting the parents and the kids. And it made me realize that there's this pressure in society now that we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And how that can actually make parenting and being around our kids less joyful.
100%.
So do you feel like having your parents living with you, does that change the energy in your home? And does it give your kids a different sense of security?
I have so many thoughts on this. But yeah, absolutely. That book sounds amazing and I want to read it.
Yeah.
Because
you should. It's awesome.
I definitely will. My husband and I talk about this a lot. There's a lot of factors that go into it and our kind of perspective on this. But everything that you just said, the nuclear family was really kind of invented in the 50s, 60s. It's pretty recent. It's during the Industrial Revolution. Women went to work and for the first time, and like the society shifted radically in so many ways. And the concept of like you're a mom and dad and 2 kids and the white picket fence and the golden retriever, like that was just, and you buy a home, and like that was the American dream. And it's just not the reality for all of human history, but also still most cultures today. So my husband is Asian, he's Vietnamese, and he grew up in a multi-generational household, with his grandparents and his parents, and it was just super normal for him. So that helped, I think, that it was, it was just like a very normal, like, why wouldn't we? My parents were at a stage in their life where they had sold their home and then they were renovating their home in Miami and they travel a lot. And then I got pregnant and it was COVID and just like a lot of things just kind of aligned and it was always meant to be temporary. And it just works for us. My husband and I both work. I have so much help between my parents and then, I have a nanny, but it's really my mom who's there. Like last night, my baby wasn't sleeping. It was my mom and I taking shifts.
Oh, I love that.
And it's just, and also, the weekends and the nights and just having. So, okay, I grew up, my dad's Spanish and my mom's Australian.
Did you grow up in Spain?
I grew up in the US. So we moved here when I was 3.
Okay. So you're young.
Yeah. So I grew up in the States, but my family was in Australia and Spain. So I was so close with my grandparents, but I never got to see, it was always a special treat to get to go visit them.
And because they still lived.
They lived abroad, so it was just us. Like we were the nuclear family. It was
right.
It was just us. My parents did it all on their own, and to see my kids get to grow up with their grandparents and be so close to them, and like see them every day, and it just be normal. That's also just the best. Like there's no one that you want taking care of your kids more than your mom, especially.
Yeah, that must be really special.
So there's lots of things, but I wrote a whole article about this because I'm really passionate about it, and I do think that. Whether it's, not everyone can live with their in-laws. I get that. Or want to. I get it. But whether it's your parents or your community, your friends, like just building that village, that's how we're designed. That's how we're meant to live. Like we need that.
Yeah. And I'm guessing it makes it more enjoyable for you too, like being a parent and being around your kids because you have that extra set of hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always joke, it's my live-in, but she's more than that. My mom is everything. That's just our joke. But of course,
did you have help growing? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Go ahead.
Did you have help when you were growing up, or was it just your mom doing it all?
My dad was a stay-at-home dad.
Oh, your dad.
Yeah, my dad was.
I love that.
Yeah. So he's a musician. So he always had a studio at home and he was always kind of making music. Now that we're older, he's gotten back into, wanting to be on stage and touring again. But at home, like when we were growing up, he was just, writing for other artists. But he was the school pickup, the dinner, and he was the
I feel like that wasn't as common.
No,
with our parents' generation.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I guess my husband and I were both kind of used to just not the norm. So it was kind of an easy transition to us. And his parents they're in LA. They're super involved as well, and we're really close with them.
They live up here.
So so we see them a lot. My son goes and stays at their house and he loves it. So having that, like you said, extra set of hands, it does make it more enjoyable because it's not a chore. It's, you spread out the work and because it's a lot of work, it's a lot. And especially when you're working. And so your full-time job is like managing your house and taking care of your kids and your day-to-day job. And so you're like constantly being pulled in both directions.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could do it without my mom. Yeah. Straight up.
I mean, I think that there's this misconception from a lot of people who don't have kids that like parents do it all, like I mentioned, and it's just not the reality most of the time. People have, a lot of people have nannies and family, counts as help. I can't imagine doing it on my own, and we shouldn't have to. We need our village. And whatever that looks like. So yes, I work full time. My mom and my husband and my dad, we all work. And so I have a nanny during the week, during working hours. But as you know, kids is not just like a 9-to-5 thing. No. So it's all of, it's all the time.
Everything else
24/7.
It's everything else.
It's the most dedicated job that exists, and it's completely unpaid.
Yeah. I know. It's so much more. And just the mental, I've been hearing this word, the mental load. Yep. And now I think about it all the time, like just thinking, I'm, thinking of all the things that we need. And then, Aurelia needs to go to the doctor and Theo was naughty at school and this happened. And it's like, it's just constant.
All the time.
I don't know how people have 5-6 kids. I don't understand.
I don't either.
My
husband wants more and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good right now.
My 2 is perfect.
I agree. I'm with you on that. And for parents who don't have family nearby, what are some ways, like in your mind, what are some ways that you can build that sense of support?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't grow up with family around. And now being a mom, I look at what my parents went through and I just have so much, I understand it so differently now and have so much admiration. I actually don't know how they did it. But we grew up in Miami and they built a really, really strong community there. So they had friends who were our friends' parents, that were like second parents to us and that they could rely on and, school pickups or if something happened, like they if they needed to be somewhere, we could go to their house and it was like family. And I think building that group, whether it's actual family or friends who are like family that you can really trust and depend on and not be embarrassed or afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
And then also be there for them. It's a two-way street. But you need to build that kind of support system in some way and not be ashamed to ask for help because we're not meant to do it alone.
No, we're not. I have help pretty much all day because between work and managing the household.
Yeah.
And my husband is also working full time. So I like having someone there, even if I don't need their help every second of the time that I'm there.
Yeah.
Just having someone there, even to keep you company in that way. Mm-hmm. And like if you're cooking dinner, they're with the kids. Or if you're sitting and eating dinner with the kids, they're helping you in the kitchen and bringing my kid water. Like it's just little things that I think when I feel supported, I feel so much more peaceful.
Yeah, you're just a better version of yourself.
Completely. But
also, I'm so grateful that I didn't have kids during COVID because I don't understand how parents overcame that and went through it. But, I work from home 4 days a week. And even then, I would think, oh, it's fine. I can work from home and have my kids there. And like, you can't. You cannot get anything done. My son was homesick for a couple weeks ago. And I basically just had to cancel everything because, the nanny's with the baby. And even with her there, he just wants to be with me. And he's like climbing all over me and doesn't let me type. And then wants to, and you know what? He's 3. He should be. He shouldn't just be sitting there watching TV while I'm typing away. Like, that's not healthy for either of us either. So we need to find a way that we can all kind of cooperate and build this healthy ecosystem. And when I'm present, I'm present. And, but I also have to work. And when I'm working, I know that my kids are well looked after.
Yeah. While we're on the kid topic, I know that you are teaching your kids 2 different languages, right?
Yeah.
Spanish and Vietnamese. So, which I think is incredible. I'm Italian, so I'm trying to teach my son Italian. But I saw you shared some beautiful books in Vietnamese on Instagram, and I think that's beautiful. But it reminded me how intentional you're so intentional about keeping that alive. I know a lot of parents listening don't speak another language themselves, but wish their kids grew up bilingual. And I speak Italian, but I have a really hard time staying consistent with it because no one speaks around me. Yeah. And I'm just speaking sometimes to this void or thin air and speaking to my kid, but he doesn't speak back right now. For parents who don't speak another language, what's the best place to start when they want to teach their kids a different language? Do you think?
So, there's a lot to kind of unpack there. I'm trying to, where do I start? So I guess from the beginning, my husband and I, we had decided even before we had kids, like very early on, that was a priority for us. We really wanted to pass on our heritage languages to them. And that was just something that we personally that we prioritized and was important to us. And it's definitely harder, I've realized, when it's not your dominant language. So we both are fluent in Spanish and him in Vietnamese because we were raised by people who didn't speak English. So my dad speaks English, but like not really well. Mm-hmm. And he would only speak to us in Spanish growing up. And with my husband, he only spoke Vietnamese at home. So that's much easier.
That was the same with like my dad. He spoke English, but he really tried to implement the Italian with me, which is why I learned it so well.
Yeah, my dad speaks English, but like his dominant language is Spanish, and that's what we would speak at home. So I did a lot of research into this. And when you do speak the language, there are different methods. And I talk about this also on my Instagram, but we did the one parent, one language, which is like I would speak to the kids only in Spanish and he would do, and Derek would do only in Vietnamese. It gets harder as they get older, I'm realizing, but we really try to like maintain that. And then when we go out and we're in public, we use the dominant language. But, I'll use myself as an example for parents who don't speak the language to answer your question. I mean, I don't speak Vietnamese. I know a little. I'm trying to learn. And I've kind of made it a fun thing where I learn with Theo, with my 3-year-old. So we try to make it fun. Like, we're in school together.
That's a good idea.
So, and Mama's learning with you. And so last night we did like a bilingual, those books that I have in Vietnamese are great because they're English and Vietnamese. So
I wish they made them in Italian.
I'm sure they do. You should look for them.
Okay.
I'll look for them. I'll find some for you.
Okay, great.
I'm like all in the language stuff. And so Derek will read the Vietnamese part and I'll read the English part and I'll ask questions. So it's not just like he's the one learning, but I'm learning too, and kind of frame it that way. Another great hack is, if you are going to get a nanny, look for one who speaks the language that you would like your kids to learn. So I went out of my way to find a Vietnamese nanny. I like joined Vietnamese Facebook groups. Like I had my father-in-law write the ad, and at first they, when they came to interview, they were like, what's this white girl doing in these Facebook groups? But that was amazing because, they speak Vietnamese at home with her all day. So that was a really big one. So even if you don't speak the language, whoever's taking care of your child, when they're really, really young, those are the critical years. Once they go to school, they're going to learn English. So I didn't even worry those first few years of them like having English at all. It was my lowest priority. And so my son now, he's in school and he just wants to speak English. And you were saying you want to speak to them in Italian, but you're not getting anything back. Just keep doing it. Like they're absorbing all of it.
I also forget though. I need to be better at, I've been really slacking lately and I'm like, I want him to know Italian so badly.
Just like keep doing it. And then it becomes a habit. At the beginning, it was so weird for me to speak Spanish to my son, my oldest, because I was just so used to speaking English all the time. And then it just, your brain like switches. And now it's weird for me to speak to him in English. I just get like, that's the language. Like, I'm sure you have that same thing with your family. There are people that you speak Italian with and there are people you speak English with. And it just becomes this normal, that's what your brain does. It just switches. Mm-hmm. And so that's how you learn the language. And that's why the one parent, one language method really works. Because it like programs your brain. But yeah, just keep doing it. Even now, Theo is fully bilingual, but doesn't want to speak Spanish because it's, all of his friends speak English. So I'll speak to him and he responds to me in English. Yeah. But I just keep.
He will eventually respond to you in Spanish.
I did the same thing when I was a kid. Yeah. But I know he understands because he's responding to me. So, you just have to be consistent. It gets easier.
I'm sure. I need to start speaking to Roma in Italian because I don't do that. And
Roma, I love that name.
Thank you. Justin and I were engaged in Rome. And so I always loved that name. I actually was originally going to name her Rome. Like if I had a boy, I was going to name him Rome. And if I had a girl, I was going to be Rome. And then I was like, I feel like I want to make it a little bit more feminine. So I chose Roma.
We also love Rome. And we came up with our daughter's name in Rome too. Aurelia.
Cute.
Yeah, we're really into history, and we were at Palatine Hill in like the ancient Roman Senate quarters. I was like, Marcus Aurelius. Wait, Aurelius. Aurelia. I like that name.
Pretty.
So yeah, anyway. Yeah, her name is Roman too.
Love that.
This matcha is delicious, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. What would you say to parents who feel discouraged that they're starting too late with the language?
Just don't. Don't. It's never, ever too late to start. It's definitely easier when they're younger because you have more control over their environment before they start school and they have friends, and their brains are just, it is, I started researching it because I was concerned that Vietnamese and Spanish were too different and it would confuse them. And all the research says the complete opposite. Like when you're young, your brain can absorb just like so many languages. So it's definitely easier when they're babies. That being said, it's never too, I'm learning Vietnamese.
Right.
It's never too late.
Fair.
But it's just harder. They have bilingual schools now. You can also look for after school activities that are in another language. So like we live in OC, so there's a lot of Vietnamese stuff. But we'll sign Theo up for Vietnamese Boy Scouts. So it's not just like a language, but it's something fun, things like that. There are ways that you can incorporate language that are not like language lessons.
Yeah, making it more fun.
Yeah, TV, if we do, like whenever we do let them watch TV, it's like Vietnamese or Spanish. They have Peppa Pig in Vietnamese. So that's also, it's like, okay, you might as well. If you're going to watch it in Vietnamese.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears into Whole Bunch Club because that's kind of where you've taken a lot of these values and wellness and all these things to make something bigger for parents. And for someone hearing about it for the first time, how would you describe Whole Bunch Club?
So Whole Bunch Club is a blog that I started that is really grounded in all of the research that I've been doing into product safety and ingredients and testing and just like how beyond marketing, like what is actually in the products that we bring into our home. That's it in a nutshell. But the kind of backstory is, so I'm very research-based. If you can't tell already, I'm a total nerd. I work at a think tank called the Berggruen Institute, and I studied political science at school. And so my background is very academically kind of centered. And I, over the years, have kind of honed this skill both at the Institute and then in kind of my like personal public role and like my social media and stuff at kind of translating really complex theories and thoughts and ideas in accessible ways. And like, that's how I like to communicate. And so this was just a really natural kind of transition once I became a mom, and that was my priorities shifted and my interest shifted. It was kind of taking that formula that I already had been doing for so long and doing it for the research and the interests that I was developing on my own. So I kind of became the go-to with my friends for like, what's the best product for this and what's in that and whatever. And I built this spreadsheet that just had all of the research. And it grew from there, where I now, another really important thing to me, especially with social media, is expertise and authority. And I recognize I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert. And I think one of the things that I don't like about social media is that everyone claims to be an expert, and you're getting so much information, you don't know what's legit. And I think that's dangerous. And that's always been a kind of a big focus of mine. So I've been able to, through this, interview these amazing founders and doctors and researchers who are doing just incredible kids in the health and wellness and kids space. And so it's like, okay, I'm just the messenger. So, I'm not the expert. This is what I've learned from these experts. And then I kind of package it in a way that's more accessible to other people. And so that's really important to me as well, the authority. And I've just gotten to speak to these amazing, it's like selfishly, I really like this product. Let me talk to you and learn more about it.
And it's about connection too.
Yeah. And there are these amazing brands that are really doing incredible things to just bring better products into the world. And we've seen this whole shift where people are just like more aware of what's in the food that they're eating or the products that they're putting on their body, even, like the kitchen utensils that we're using, just everything. And I think that's been a really great shift, but that can also be really scary if you don't have the information. And so I've just been trying to learn and share as much of it as I can. And it's been a really incredible journey.
I love that. What inspired you to create it? Was there a moment or something that happened that pulled you into it?
Yeah, I feel like I'd been looking for my thing for a long time. My husband is kind of my biggest, cheerleader and always encourages me to do, to think bigger. And he's very entrepreneurial and he started a bunch of businesses. And so I really look up to him. And I had been, I love my work at the Institute and I'd been doing that for so long. But at the same time, I'd been kind of trying to find my voice as I left acting, which is now almost 10 years ago. I'd still been trying, like, what's my voice? What's my purpose? And, what do I kind of want to do outside of my like professional world? And I went through, if you go just through my Instagram, you'll see I've done like it's this story of me kind of trying to find my voice. And I think that now I finally landed on this perfect blend of science and research and communication about things that I'm really passionate about. And so, yeah, that's really kind of where, why I chose to go this route. I think I really needed something that was mine.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
I really feel that. That's why I started this.
Exactly
why. Yeah. Trying to figure out what I really want in my life and what I want to spread and how I want to inspire others and what I want to give to others.
Yeah. And so many of the skills that I've learned over time, I was an actress for so long, and that, I learned so much and that really shaped me. And then it was like a long transition of, well, who am I after that, and trying to figure that out.
And then you had kids and that shifted everything too. So.
Yeah. And so this feels right. And it's been really fun to kind of build it from the ground up. So we'll see.
Well, I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
It's the beginning of something very cool.
I hope so. It's been really fun. And I've seen my husband spin up a bunch of businesses, and he's been just like an incredible inspiration and asset. Exactly. And so this is something that we also can do together. And that's been really fun.
Yeah.
And I felt I was already doing the research anyway, so might as well share it and put it out there.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say your husband?
No, my husband does the same thing. Like he's built a bunch of different businesses. The one that he has now is becoming very successful, but having him on my side, helping me through this is also an incredible asset. And he's inspiring to me as well. So
completely. I feel like I am so traditional in many ways, and we're a good balance in that way. But I'm very by the book, and my vision is kind of limited by that. And he's like, the sky's the limit. Like you can do anything, and it's like so scary. But also, I'm like, wait, no, but I have to go, like this. And he's like, no, you don't. You can build something.
You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Can you share a story of someone's experience with Whole Bunch Club that reminded you that this is why you're doing it?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay, there's a few. There's just the messages that I get, or even just when I'm talking to my friends that are like, oh, I got this product, or I learned this from you, that, all the time, more times than I even expected. Because sometimes, I don't know if you get this feeling, you're like, oh, wait, you saw that? You watched that? Like, whoa, that's, So I always love to hear that. But a specific one last week was I interviewed the chief medical officer of ByHeart, the formula company.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a really big interview for me because it had been months in the making. And it was, they're huge. And I also am I'm a ByHeart mom. And so that was like a huge privilege to get to ask her all the questions that I had. And we came on, and I was like, it's such, these are my celebrities now. It's such an honor to speak with you. And she was like, are you okay? I'm so excited to speak with you. I've been following your content and I love what you're doing. And thank you for doing it. And I was just like,
you're like, these are the moments.
Yeah. So that was a really cool one.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Getting that feedback from people when you don't think that they're paying attention, or when you don't really think that anyone is paying attention, because that's not really the reason why you're doing it.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Yeah. You're always like, oh, wait, you actually saw that, because it's different. It's like when I was, I don't know, and I started acting before even social media. And so there was no way to like track and measure, and you didn't have to think. I'm grateful that I didn't have to think about, like that component of the industry. But you knew that people had seen your work, it's a movie, like, that people are watching it. But now I guess just being an entrepreneur is so different in that sense than like being part of a system and a group. And now it's just like, and you work on your own and you just think that no one's watching, like it's anyone paying attention, but you just keep doing it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, exactly. So when you get that feedback, it's really nice.
Yeah. And one of your big focuses, I think, with Whole Bunch Club that I've noticed is kids' food and kids' nutrition and kids' supplements. What made you start looking deeper into children's food, especially the pouches?
Yeah. So we talked about this. That was the most eye-opening kind of all the things I learned, the pouches was the craziest one. But to go back to your question before I tell the pouch story, food was just the most obvious place to start because it's something that you're in it every day and you're feeding your kids, and I want to make meals from scratch, but it's not realistic. And so it's like trying to find, well, what are the best products that I can give my kids? And the vitamin, I started researching the vitamins because my husband is in the supplements industry. And so he does gummy vitamins and all different types of vitamin stuff for adults. And so I already knew, I had like a baseline of knowledge from there. And then you just go deeper and deeper and you start to see, well, who's sharing their lab results and like, where are they? And then learning from him, from my husband about like how manufacturing works.
What to look for.
It's so much more complicated than what they can just, stamp on a label. Learning about how what does an FDA, facility mean? Or like how things are manufactured has a huge impact on the end product. So it's not just like reading the ingredient list. I even interviewed the founder of Million Marker, which is the first at-home test for plastics and BPAs and phthalates.
They have that?
So cool. I did it. Yeah, the interview with her is about to come out. It is so cool that this thing exists. Yeah. But she was saying, essential oils. I mean, sure, they're great, but like, how are they manufactured? How are they going through? Like, are they being like processed through plastic? Because then all of that plastic is leaching in. So all of these things that you learn that, okay, well, now how am I going to aggregate all of this information in a way that's accessible? And so then I came up with the rating system, the rubric. And so food was kind of the obvious place to start. Then with the pouches, as I got deeper and deeper, so you do all this research and you're like, these are the good pouches because these are the ones that follow, this rubric that I built and like the ingredients and the testing and the processing and this and that and whatever. Then I learned about how they're actually processed. So there's aseptic and then there's retort processing. I didn't even know who knows about this? Like, I
don't.
I didn't
You're
know.
speaking gibberish.
Yeah, I mean, I've been researching this for so long and I only just learned. So in order to make food shelf stable, you have to process it in some way, right? So that it doesn't go bad. And so you can use preservatives and all of the healthy foods, that we like, we don't want preservatives in the food. So with kids' pouches in particular, there are two ways to do it. You can use, you can do cold press, it's HPP something. Anyway, those are for the ones that are like, that have to stay in the fridge. There's this other term that I'm not remembering now, but those are like your Once Upon a Farm and your Little Spoon. Those go in the fridge. Those are great. But then also we're on the go. You want ones that are shelf stable, right? That don't need to be refrigerated. And so I had looked up all of the pouches, and been like, these are the best brands. Then I learned about retort and aseptic processing. So with retort, which is like 99% of the food pouches out there, what they do is they create the food product. That's the product that they test. So when you search the lab results, like that's what you're looking at.
It's not after it's put in the pouches. It's before, right? It's
before. So they have the food. They test it. They're like, this is free of lead. Da, 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 da. Then they put it in the pouch, and then they pressurize the pouch at extremely high heat in order to seal it. So it's literally like taking a Ziploc bag of food and like throwing it in the microwave.
Boiling water, whatever.
Or boiling water. And we go to all of these lengths to avoid, heating plastic. And then these pouches are just like, think of all of the chemicals that are leaching into that. And so I was just blown away that all of these, healthy brands, they do that. They do that because it's cheaper and it's more accessible and whatever. And look, like, you're not going to die if you eat them. But I just feel like there's a lot of information that is not being fully disclosed.
No, there's no transparency about it.
There's no transparency. They're like, here are lab results. Okay, yeah, but that was before you then subjected it to high heat in this plastic container.
So what is the results afterwards?
Yeah, and nobody knows. They did do a test recently. The BBC did this whole expose on pouches in the UK. And not only do the chemicals from the pouch leach in during this manufacturing process, but it also decreases the nutritional value.
Well, yeah, of course. So, like if you put food in the microwave.
Yeah, so you're lowering that as well. So even the nutrition label isn't accurate to the end product. So far, the only one that I have found, the only pouch that I found that actually uses retort processing, which is they sterilize the food and they sterilize the pouch. They let it cool and then they put it together. Is called Sophie's Organics.
Sophie's Organics. I've never heard of that.
It's new. I met with the founder. I'm going to be interviewing her soon as well.
Oh, amazing.
I found her, also online, just in my research, and like she's, I want to support what she's doing as much as possible, but it's a startup. And so she's like kind of just getting the word out there and trying to communicate the difference between how her pouches are manufactured versus others. But I learned a lot about the process through even just talking to her.
Wow.
Like, it is more expensive. It's harder to do. And that's why everyone doesn't do it. Yeah. I know, but we're doing our best. And so there's no need to panic. That's the other thing.
Of course. It's
just frustrating.
I think for the parents that pay a lot of attention to it, like us, when we hear this, of course you want to switch gears and find something better because you no longer feel comfortable giving your kids those things once you know what's in them.
It's so frustrating because it's like I did all of this research. I really spent all this time scanning the grocery aisle to find the best thing. And then there's another layer that I didn't know about.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot through this this journey. And so now I just want to share and I'm sure there's a million other things that I still don't know. But
was there, on this topic, aside from the pouches, was there something else that really surprised you when you were doing research into like kids' brands?
The amount of sugar and additives that are in so many products. And I think if you're kind of health-minded to begin with and you're thinking about these things, then, and also you have the budget to do it because they are more expensive, then you're more likely to make, a better choice. But so many of the on-the-shelf products, like the gummies, for example, these on-the-shelf products that are just like the most popular and that you get when you're in the supermarket or at CVS or whatever, that people are just grabbing because they're from like trusted legacy brands. Everyone, no matter what their income is or how much time they have to spend researching a product, whatever, everyone should be able to be confident in the choices that they make for their kids. And if something is on the shelf being like healthy, whatever, and it's not, and it's full of crap, it's criminal in my mind. Mm-hmm. Like it's just, there's so much misleading marketing. And mm-hmm. when you dig deeper, it's wrong. And also I should say, not just the cheap stuff. I did some research on vitamins that really surprised me, like some really, really expensive ones that were full of crap. So it's not just, it's not always you get what you pay for.
It's all misleading. There's so many brands that mislead you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's and by the way, the transparency isn't on the bottle. Like you have to do research of the time to find out.
Yeah.
If these brands are testing for all of these different
and a lot of them
metals,
aren't,
etc.
And then there's these like third-party independent researchers like Blood Safe Mama and Mamavation, and they're doing incredible work, but they're community funded and they're doing this on their own. There are certifications now like Clean Label and B Corp and things like that, so you can kind of decide, what's important to you, like environmental and work culture, B Corp, and clean ingredients, like Clean Label. Those do help a lot. So if you don't have like the time or whatever, just anything with that label is a pretty good bet. Because also the testing process is imperfect, but it's the best that we have.
Yeah, you have to trust something.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's different batches of different things and whatever. So you also can't go crazy about either. I always say to myself, okay, well, we're living longer than any generation in human history, and we can't, panic about every little thing, but just do our best. And we should be empowered, by the choices that we make, by at the very least being given accurate information. And so it's like all the marketing stuff that really kind of bothers me the most.
Yeah. We can feel so much pressure and guilt around these things to get it right. So,
yeah.
But how do you release that pressure and focus on what really matters?
Research. I'm a total nerd. Some people, I think, I think that's just my personality. For me, it's like data. And I want to learn as much as I can. I'm like, whoa, that's so... When I learned that about the pouches, I didn't beat myself up because I'd been giving, my son for a year, pouches that now I wouldn't buy. It was more just like, oh, wow, I learned this. Okay, now I'm going to change.
Yeah.
So I like research. I like numbers and facts.
If there's a parent out there that's feeling overwhelmed, what's a simple shift that they could make?
Just remind yourself that you're doing your best, that it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's really, really hard. And everyone's going to be okay. The sky isn't falling. I really try to kind of, what's the word? Just like put things in perspective we have so much more information than ever before, and that's an amazing thing, but it can also be so overwhelming. So like the doom scrolling, like I don't scroll on Instagram. I have the people that I like to follow, that I get information from and that I trust, and, and that's great. And then I, spend my time online doing my own research and whatever. But just when you get overwhelmed with all of the information that's out there, it's just too much. So I think we just need to be kind to ourselves, kind of just put things in perspective, and maybe just take a breath, because it's a lot.
It is. I find myself sometimes getting overwhelmed, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming. And gosh, like even when I get flustered over things that, it's not that they don't matter, but that aren't so important, like we're all guilty of that. And so I just try to take these moments to just, okay, calm down. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big a deal. And also we're so lucky, just where we live, just by nature of like where we live, all of the opportunities that we have, all of the resources that we have available, where we're really, really fortunate. Everyone listening to this and watching this, we just like, I've really started to shift to be really grateful, and then that helps put things in perspective, because, there are so many people around the world who just don't have the resources or the opportunities or the ability to, like they just have much, much harder lives. Like our lives are really good. Mm-hmm. So I remind myself of that.
Yeah.
First world problems. I tell myself that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I want to wrap this up with a few reflections.
Okay.
If you could go back, what's one thing you would tell your younger self?
Wow. That's a really hard one. Okay, I need a second. Maybe you can edit this out, because I've gone through so many, I feel, changes. But my really, really younger self, it would be to really focus on what matters, because I think that I was very shaped by being a child actor, and for a little bit that kind of that sent me on many different paths, and then for a little bit I think I kind of lost myself, and was really I thought things were important that aren't. And now that I'm on the other side of that, I kind of wish that I'd gotten there sooner. So, but that just comes with wisdom. So it's hard to, it's a hard question to answer, but I do wish that I had learned what's really important in life a little sooner.
Yeah.
That's not a great answer.
No, it's a great answer. It's what you would tell your younger self. There's no right or wrong answer or good or bad answer.
Like this stuff is not important.
No.
It's family. It's being a good person. Being dependable and kind, and all of those like real values. It's not about being popular. And, like all that stuff. So,
yeah. And if there's looking ahead, is there something that you hope that your future self thanks you for?
Yes, I hope that my kids love me and, look back and say, oh, mom and dad did everything for us. And, even when they were away or they were busy or they were working, I hope they understand that we did it for them.
What about you? What do you want what do you think, what do you want your future self to thank you for?
Yeah, I mean, well, like if my kids don't hate me, like, I'd be like, okay, I did well. They're like, I had a horrible childhood. My mom was never around. She would totally, that won't be the case. But I would thank myself if I have two really happy, grounded, well-adjusted kids. And happy is the biggest thing. Like success, what does that mean?
No,
like for me,
happiness is the most
happiness
important.
is success. So I want 2 happy kids that, that love their family, just like my husband. I want, then Derek and I can look at each other and be like, we did well.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. This is really fun.
I'm going to end with a little prayer.
Okay.
May we carry what we need, release what we don't, and stay open to the magic that is unfolding. Thank you for sharing your heart and sipping your matcha with me today.
Thank you. I love that. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.